Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Menasha Common Council meeting to order. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start tonight, I'd like to thank Attorney Godlewski for joining us this evening from Nina when Pam was not available. So please be nice to him. Could we have the roll call, please?
Alderman Engelbert.
Here.
Alderman Benner.
Here.
Alderman Nichols.
Here.
Alderman Sevenik.
Here.
Alderman Kian. Alderman Zielinski.
Here.
Alderman Taylor and Langdon have been excused.
The first item on the agenda this evening is public comments on any matter of concern to the city. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak this evening? Seeing no one, we'll move on to the report of department head, staff, and consultants. Director McKinney has an update on the senior center this evening.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to communicate a little bit of the update on the senior center. It's anticipated that this week all of the cleaning and the floors will be waxed and the whole building will be ready for the grand opening. Grand opening was moved to March 9th. The ribbon cutting will be at 9 a.m. There's still going to be a donor night, which is Wednesday, March 18th from 5 to 7, and a senior luncheon on March 19th. The lunch will be at 12:15. There'll be a break from classes on Friday of this week, and they'll resume on March 10th. Our senior fundraising has exceeded its goal, just so everybody's aware of that. So we really appreciate all of the help from the community. Donations are still being accepted, of course, because there are a lot of furnishings and equipment that needs to be purchased. So that's the update. If you have any questions.
McKinney? Seeing none, thank you. Director Tungate has an update on the joint meeting that's scheduled for, I believe, the 17th regarding the Twin Trestle project.
Yeah, thank you. It really wasn't my intent to report too much in depth on this upcoming meeting, just to really inform the council that this was going to be occurring on March 17th, and it's going to be a joint meeting to talk about the Twin Trestle Trail project. The report is the final report is in your packet tonight, and the other item that's in your packet tonight is the joint resolution. And we wanted to get this to the council tonight to give you a full 2 weeks to review the resolution, to review the study, and if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me over the next 2 weeks. The reason we did it, really two reasons we did the resolution at this point. One, it's needed for the grant application that we'd like to pursue on this project. And secondly, it just shows sort of general, I think, support that both communities hopefully will have to this, what I would call, pretty exciting project. So, so the part of what's going to happen on the 17th is myself and Park and Rec Director Eileen McCoy from NENA and Amy Barker from Future NENA. I believe the three of us will be giving a report, kind of talking about the project in general, talking about funding, fundraising, and those sorts of things. And so there will also be plenty of time for question and answer during that meeting as well. So it really wasn't the intent to get into too much of the project details tonight, but just to kind of, get this meeting on your calendar, I guess.
Does anyone have questions for Director Tungate at this point? Alderman Sevenik?
This is obviously a meeting that's open to the public, right?
Yes.
The only issue, though, is that when we have a meeting like that it won't be televised for the general public. And in a way, this is a major expense, kind of an eye-opening project for the community, and I would think that their input would be extremely important. So is there any plans to somehow maybe try to televise that meeting?
Well, a topic did come up.
Okay.
We weren't planning on doing it at this point. We potentially could. There's no facilities to do so in the public library. We didn't feel it was best to have it in one council chambers or the other, just because it is a joint project. We could potentially move it, though. But we hadn't planned at this point.
I know we've had joint meetings in the past at the city of Neenah. I mean, I would think that there's more room there, and then that, at least that way it could be televised. It's just a thought. I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but, you know, it seems like some of these bigger issues, especially when we're talking about bigger dollars, we somehow forget to televise these, and I think it's kind of important.
Alderman Nichols?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Director Tungate, could you inform everyone as to where and when the meeting will be?
It's going to be on March 17th at 6 o'clock, Menasha Public Library in the company E-room.
Thank you.
Anyone else? We'll move on then to the minutes and communications. Do we have a motion? Alderman Benner?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I make a motion to receive and put on file minutes A through D and communications E through L.
There's a motion, a second. Is there any discussion on any of those items? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. We have 3 items on the consent agenda this evening. The minutes to approve from the Common Council meeting of February 16th. The Administration Committee recommendation to approve the 2015 agreement and contract among ABOCAP and the City of Menasha, the Neenah Menasha YMCA, with the Menasha Senior Center for the term of January 1st, 2015 through December 31st, 2015. And the Board of Public Works recommendation for approval for the change order to Commonwealth Construction, Project PF 13B14. It's an add of $7,454.50. Change order number 1 for the Senior Center. Does anyone wish to have any of the items separated this evening? Seeing no one, could we have a motion? Alderman Benner?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I make a motion to approve consent agenda items 1, 2, and 3.
There's a motion, a second. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Motion carried on roll call 6-0.
Item I is action items. The first item is the accounts payable and payroll for February 13th through February 26th. Is there a motion? Alderman Nichols?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move to approve the accounts payable and payroll for the term of 2/13/15 to 2/26/15 in the amount of $4,244,067.27.
There's a motion, a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing no one, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Motion carried on roll call 6-0.
Item 2 is the beverage operators license applications for the 2013 through 15 year. Is there a motion? Alderman Nichols?
Thank you. I'll move to approve the beverage operators license applications for the 2013 through 2015 licensing period as listed on the Police Department memo dated February 26, 2015.
There's a motion, a second. Is there any discussion? Alderman Sevenick?
Thank you, Mayor. I've noticed that it says between the 2013, 2015 period. Does that mean that at the end of 2015, we're going to get all new applicants? So we'll have several hundred? And you guys will be very busy.
Yes, the licenses do go through April 1st, if I recall correctly? June 30th. Okay, so we'll start getting inundated with them shortly. We generally send a letter out to all the current license holders about 2 months prior to, just to let them know that all their licenses are coming up. So we try to not have that mad rush at the very end, but yes, they will all become due.
So will this applicant have to reapply, or applicants have to reapply again in just a few months?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Motion carried on roll call 6-0.
Item 3 is a Class B liquor license application for the Lake House Supper Club. doing business as the Lake House Supper Club at 124 Main Street. Is there a motion? Alderman Nichols?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move to approve the Class B liquor license application for Lake House Supper Club LLC, doing business as the Lake House Supper Club at 124 Main Street.
There's a motion, a second. Did you want to comment on the taxes, Debbie?
Oh, yes, all taxes and financial obligations to the city have been met and they're current. So as my memo had stated that we were going to double check, so everything's all fine.
And I believe Mrs. Taylor is here this evening if anyone has questions for her. If not, do we have any questions? Otherwise, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Motion carried on roll call 6-0.
And item 4 is a outdoor alcoholic beverage permit for the Lake House Supper Club as well. Do we have a motion? Alderman Nichols?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move to approve the outdoor alcoholic beverage permit for the 2014 through 2015 licensing year for the Lake House Supper Club LLC.
There's a motion, a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Motion carried on roll call 6-0.
Thank you for coming tonight and welcome to the community. We're looking forward to seeing you come in. Thanks. Item L is held over business, and, oh, did I miss J? That's the one I thought I was doing. I just read the wrong one. Item J is ordinances and resolutions. It's ordinance 0115, and it's a request to allow overnight parking on the west side of Elm Street from Nicolay to Kai Street during the period of April 1st through October 31st. Is there a motion this evening? See, apparently we're not going to have a motion on that one this evening then. We'll move on to item L. See, I know I just need to go to L. Item L is held over business, and it's ordinance 4-15, and it's relating, I'll just read the whole thing. It's an ordinance repealing and recreating Title 13.
Mayor.
Would you like to make the motion,
Sure.
Stan?
I'll make the
Okay.
motion for 0415, the ordinance repealing the recreating Title 13, Chapter 1, Article F, Section 13-1-67D1 and Section 13-167D4. This is a requirement for a different type of sign type. I believe it's the Quick Trip. New Quick Trip, I should say.
There's a motion, a second. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Motion carried on roll call 6-0.
Item 2 is the Park and Recreation Board recommendation for revising the current park fee policy. Is there a motion this evening? Alderman Nichols?
Would this be a motion to approve?
If that's what you'd like to do, yes.
I'll move to approve the Park and Recreation Board's recommendation to revise the current park fee policy for nonprofit groups to coincide with the current special event fee policy.
So motion, a second. Is there discussion? Alderman Sevenick?
Thank you, Mayor. The reason I asked for this to be held for 2 weeks, a special council rule, is because there were constituents that had felt that there should probably be some type of amendment dealing with nonprofits, defining it clear, and like 501c3s that actually resided or whose organization or business was here in the city of Menasha. And then after talking with Brian, to me it can be very I don't know what the right word, it can get mixed up in a way, because sometimes you have an organization that doesn't have a location. They may only have a P.O. box. That P.O. box may be in another community, but they probably do most of their work here. Another example was like the Rotary, who does a lot of work for the city, but yet holds there's like seafood event here in the city of Menasha. So, I mean, I'm not going to get bent out of shape here. I don't think we're talking too big of dollars to really worry about it. So I'll hold off my opinion, and if there are residents or other folks that feel additionally strong about this, they can ask for those changes in the future. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Do we have a roll call vote then, please?
Motion carried on roll call 6-0.
Item N is public comments on any matter listed on the agenda. Is there anyone here who wishes to make a comment this evening? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn? Not everyone at once, please. Becky?
I'll move to adjourn.
All those, do we have a second? All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Well,